Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to We Demoted Mitch Monday. We are currently the Mitch McConnell Retirement Committee. We have a wonderful show lined up for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. After we check in with tonight's co-host, we'll be starting an kind of impeachment-focused news roundup, plus a little flavor about Rand Paul and his horrible, no-good week. And then very exciting call to action with a couple of elements to it. To get engaged on a really important legislative effort that last week's guest mentioned to us. And then Doug Price is back with his first of his Impeachment Digest series. So look forward to that. But first, as you probably have heard, we are making a transition from an anti-Mitch campaign to an effort to build a larger, more vibrant and impactful progressive movement here in Kentucky. I'll be honest, we've been inspired by the success of Georgia, the success of Wisconsin, and we know we need to focus on the grassroots. We need to share our vision for a more compassionate political agenda across our Commonwealth. We'll be Progress Kentucky very soon, and this show will be changing its name as well. To help us make these changes, please consider making a contribution. Any donation would help. We've got some great ideas, some great plans, but to put them into place is going to take some resources. So really, any amount's appreciated. Thank you so much in advance for visiting that Act Blue secure website and making a donation. All right, so let's get into this show. As we do every week, we are going to start with introducing our guest, our host rather. Who are you, where are you, and what does your protest sign say today? And of course, you there on the internet, watching remotely, please do add your comments in. What does your protest sign say today? So I'm Aaron, coming to you from Childsburg in Lexington. My sign says, "Let's muster an end to the filibuster." A little internal rhyme for you. Kimberly, what do you got going on?
I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky. And today my protest sign says, "Carry on with the conviction and Republicans sit down."
Sit down. Welcome, Kimberly. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. And now a little curveball. Doug Price coming in a little early. Hey, Doug, where are you? And what does your sign say tonight?
Yes, I'm Doug Price. I'm in Harrison County, Kentucky. And, our former president has been called a liar and a crook and a cheat. So I think my protest sign just says, "Convict the Don."
Convict the Don. Get rid of him. All right. And how about this? We're totally going to mix it up. Huge curveball coming your way. Ken, can you hear me? What does your protest sign say today?
I'm here. My sign is demand justice for Breonna Taylor.
That's a good one.
Demand.
All right. How about y'all in the comments? Anyone? I don't see a single comment yet from any of our viewers, and I see that we have viewers. So go ahead and tell us what you got there. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to read them because it takes a while. And again, the number one rule about the internet: don't read the comments. But hey, we're going to go ahead and launch into Mitch in the news. And as always, Mitch is in the news because he's just always up to no good. But here's a little bit of a unique twist. It's like twist show. We are not going to talk very much about Mitch in the news. So the first story I'm going to bring to you tonight is about Mitch's minion. So there's definitely a connection to Mitch. Mitch's minion, Dan Cameron. That man has been targeted in a state impeachment effort headed up by a very interesting set of petitioners. The three unnamed grand jury members from the Breonna Taylor case are petitioning right now to impeach Dan Cameron. So, as we all heard a while back, there was this effort to impeach the governor, and that has just really opened up the floodgates of impeachment. And so now, in an effort that I think is wholly valid, the three unnamed grand jury members from the Breonna Taylor case are alleging a few different things. Most, I think, critically and importantly, that Dan Cameron lied about the Breonna Taylor grand jury process and his office's actions. He basically misconstrued what his office did and what they presented to the grand jury. And these grand jury petitioners are saying, yeah, that's not right. He lied about what he said to us. And I think that's super powerful. And that's something that, hasn't been adjudicated by a court yet. This is a kind of a new charge, basically. It's been kind of, made in the court of public opinion, but here's a chance to say, look, that's not right. You can't be lying about this stuff to the public. They also connect Dan Cameron to this, the Trump's failed self-coup attempt, right? So Dan Cameron, is on the executive committee of the Republican Attorneys General Association, or RAGA. And so the RAGA dark money PAC paid for robocalls to drive attendance to the insurrection pre-party, the incitement rally that Trump used to launch the riot at the Capitol. So that's, kind of the big charges, I think, in this thing. The petition reads, in part, Attorney General Cameron deceived the American people and the citizens of this Commonwealth with regard to his office's handling and involvement in the Breonna Taylor investigation and the resulting legal actions. So those the three jurors are still unnamed because they would like to keep their privacy. But their attorney, who is representing them, stated in a press release, the grand jurors did not choose this battle. This battle chose them. These are randomly selected citizens who are compelled to sit on a grand jury and were terribly misused by the most powerful law enforcement official in Kentucky. It's truly a testament to the Kentucky Constitution that they're able to expose injustice and demand public accountability. I'm honored and humbled to serve them. I am, so glad that they're stepping forward. This is a very unique moment. But really, Dan Cameron needs to learn you cannot lie about grand jury proceedings to suit your political agenda. And, maybe if we had elected somebody that had any actual legit legal experience or prosecution experience, we wouldn't be in this mess right now. But that's where he's landed himself, because he is solely a political operator and is only using this position to advance his political career. So that's my take on it. I was interested, Doug, though, what does the Constitution say about the process that these grand jurors have spawned or launched here?
Of course I was muted.
Of course you were muted.
Sorry.
Of course.
That's what you're supposed to do when you're newbie, right?
That's just like we planned, Doug. Perfect.
Okay, good. Well, that's what I thought I was told to do. It's amazing that the people who wrote the Constitution felt there needed to be something there, and it's a good idea for something to be there. Later on, that state law put together a process to examine the facts, and in my opinion, the facts appear to be on the side of the petitioners. And it's time will tell as to whether or not the House-controlled Republican-controlled legislature will act on what I believe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say don't bet the rent. on the state GOP actually following, the law or justice. Those folks are, I think, as they've proven time and time again during this legislative session, seem to be motivated solely by political power. Kimberly, what do you think? How does this kind of position? How does this reflect on the state of Kentucky's GOP?
I mean, once again, it's another Republican just shrouded in scandal and nefarious acts. And in addition to this great nugget of information that should have been out a long time ago, if he would have started the grand jury hearings legally. Also, he's being, investigated for his part in those robocalls, which also helped in the insurrection that happened. So as far as the GOP is concerned in the state of Kentucky, their agenda is completely different from the agenda of the people. So why would our attorney general be any different?
Absolutely. As Nate says in the comments, not a smooth operator. I'm not going to sing the Sade song, but I bet Kimberly would. All right. Fantastic. So, hey, you actually have a story for us, as well as a song. What are you going to share with us, Kimberly?
Just talk to you a little bit about, we demoted Mitch. For those that don't know, Mitch McConnell is the minority leader in the Senate now. So we have our public enemy number 2 to be concerned about. We just can't get away from the embarrassments of our legislators from Kentucky, except for John Yarmouth. And I'm like, damn, Rand, what are you doing? Get a grip. He's talking about a $15 minimum wage shows Biden hates Black teens. Biden's speech called him a white supremacist. Well, you know what I say? If the KKK hood fits, Rand Paul, you could just go ahead on and wear it. But just to give you a little bit more of the backstory of exactly what happened with that, he had an interview with Sean Hannity last Friday night. That's where his first mistake was. And in talking with this, and we're wondering if he's going to retract these statements as time goes on. I'm looking right now to see there's nothing. So apparently the ignorancy continues on with our senator from Kentucky. In talking with Hannity, he's saying that, what would happen is that 4 million people would lose their jobs if the minimum wage was raised. However, it goes to a specific office, and that was just like the worst case scenario that could possibly happen. But actually, according to factcheck.org, they did all the investigation that we need to know that is a fallacy and that's not true. And how can he even attempt to say that Biden hates Black teens? What does this have to do with just Black teens? Because you know what? There are a lot of adults in the United States of America, especially here in Kentucky, that don't even make adults. I'm talking about real adults over the age of 35 or 40 that are making less than $15 an hour to try to put a roof over their heads and feed their families. So what exactly does Rand Paul mean? Absolutely nothing. He never means anything. I think he's even an eyesore to the Senate. I think they're tired of him as well as we are. So I just want to ask you, Aaron, you had something to say. We were talking earlier about Dr. Fauci and some other snafu that Rand Paul has done.
Oh yeah, no, we've got a Twitter thread. If you follow us on Twitter, we put this all together, kind of Rand's no good, horrible, proving to the universe that he's a moron and, the constant shame of Kentucky. So, the stories you just shared, he also went on the record telling people to ignore Dr. Fauci's recommendations about, if you get the vaccine, you should still, wear a mask and socially distant. He goes out of his way to just, every time he opens his mouth, prove that he is wrong, he's misleading people. He won't back off the big lie, right? So he was on Stephanopoulos this weekend, and kind of given the opportunity again and again and again to walk back the statements about the election being stolen, Rand wouldn't do it, right? So he is all in, doubling down on this idea that the election was stolen. He didn't vote in the Senate to hold up the Electoral College certification, but he absolutely will not let go of this lie that Trump was selling, and the reason that the people rioted in the Capitol and stormed the Capitol and incited that insurrection is that lie. So yeah, Rand is just he's again, we demoted Mitch, but there's work still to be done because Rand Paul remains a horrible embarrassment to our state and all thinking humans.
Yeah, really. And then not only that, here goes another little caveat about Rand Paul. He is now saying there were parts of Biden's inaugural speech that he has a problem with. I didn't find any fault with his speech. The majority of Americans, they did a poll, like over 74% of Americans didn't see any cause for pause in Biden's speech. But of course, yeah, Rand Paul once again. And my friend Doug, I'm so glad to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
15.
I have something I would like to add about Rand Paul's concern about the $15 minimum wage that Biden would like to achieve. Right now, the federal minimum wage is $7.25. We have over 800,000 Kentuckians who are at or below the poverty level, which computes to about $6.13 an hour. And I don't know for a fact, but I would say it's a very good likelihood that Rand Paul has never voted for an increase in the minimum wage. And hopefully we have enough good Democrats, and we have some Republicans on the other side of the aisle. When we get an opportunity to talk about raising the minimum wage, hopefully we can look at a tiered wage ramp up over a period of time.
I agree.
Yeah, I think one of the flurry of executive orders that Joe Biden signed, one of them was to ensure that federal contractors are paying at least a $15 an hour minimum wage. So, kind of with a stroke of the pen, he gave a bunch of people a raise, but we know that, there's a heck of a lot of people that could use one. I think it's an important policy. It's important to remind people that if you like the idea of a $15 an hour minimum wage, which, besides free money, it's one of the most popular policies that exist. And the only way that happens is if you put Democrats in charge, right? The Republicans will never raise the minimum wage. They'll certainly not lead on it. We can maybe shame them into doing it because it is so popular, but it will never happen if Republicans are in charge of anything. Watch Kentucky. What's the Kentucky minimum wage? It's below the federal minimum wage, right? Or it is the federal minimum wage because you can't go below the federal minimum, right? But there's no chance of seeing that advance in Frankfurt because you've got these two super ultra duper majorities of GOP leadership in the House and in the Senate. So I think that's really important to remind people. If you want a raise, if you want low income workers to get a raise and have a standard of living that's at all reasonable, then you've got to put Democrats in charge. It's as simple as that. All right, Kimberly, do you have some things you'd like us to do now?
Yes, I do, Aaron. Thank you. Our call to action tonight, demand that Kentucky State Legislature take up and pass Breonna's law. We had Representative Attica Scott on last week, if you remember, and she shared that her bill still had not been scheduled for a hearing. I can't even imagine. So we know that no-knock warrants are dangerous and deadly, but must be ended before police murder anyone else in Kentucky. Save this very, very important number in your contacts. 1-800-372-7181. Once again, that number is 1-800-372-7181. Please save this number. Call frequently on issues that you care about. We'll definitely be urging action more frequently on key issues in the legislature as we transition to Progress Kentucky. So hold on to this number. I know I keep saying it. That's just how important it really is. But here goes the thing. If you'd like to get more involved with advocating for Breonna's law, the ACLU is organizing virtual lobby days the next few Wednesdays. So this would be a great opportunity to meet your legislators in person, and also get some helpful training on how to be effective in advocating for your cause. So right there on the screen, you're going to see where you can sign up. So make sure you sign. I'm going to sign up. I hope you will sign up as well. This is so important. Let's not get lazy because we got a trifecta in the White House and in the Senate and the House. So we still have a lot of local and state work to do. So sign up. I will.
Fantastic. Yeah. So that ACLU opportunity seems really cool. Some virtual lobbying, get a little bit of training, meet your legislator, state senator, state rep. And that's really important, right? Because in this weird world, it's very hard to have these kind of face-to-face interactions with them. And I think what the ACLU is doing for Breonna's law is going to really have an impact, So you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be, an attorney. You just need to be a concerned citizen, and they will, walk you through the process and make sure you're prepared and ready to go. So please do take action, folks. So yeah, next up, we are going to bring Doug in for his special essay, his research, his story. Doug's always willing to do the research that that I'm not. Doug dives in, he reads the law, he follows the money, he does an amazing service for the retirement committee or Progress Kentucky in just crunching the numbers and giving us the facts. So Doug, what have you got for us this evening?
Thanks for that.
I would certainly be in favor of allowing states to use bankruptcy route.
Ask for a raise after all. Tonight's segment will be part one of a series related to the recent Kentucky impeachment actions. The facts in this segment are true and researched. Opinions shared in this segment are my own. The first segment discusses the 3 filed petitions and provides background information about the Kentucky impeachment process. It seems like filing for impeachment is in vogue, but will probably not be in vogue much longer. Why? Because the loser in the effort will have to pay costs associated with the action, including legislator time. I reached out to my legislators seeking clarification on how that particular cost is determined, but did not hear back. I'm guessing a formula taking into consideration what they receive daily when the legislature is in session. The first was filed by 4 named petitioners against Governor Andy Beshear and supported by affidavits of another 46 people. Each of the 50, for the most part, stated they either own a business, work in a business, or out of work due to COVID-19 restrictions mandated by the governor or were retired. Signers were mostly from Eastern and Central Kentucky, 24 cities in total. My hometown of Cynthiana had 2 people to sign affidavits. The second impeachment was filed by 10 petitioners to impeach State Representative Robert Goforth. You may remember that Goforth ran against Governor Bevin in the 2019 Republican gubernatorial primary. He won his legislator re-election campaign with 71% of the vote, despite having been implicated and charged in a domestic violence incident involving his spouse. More intrigued recently when his wife came forth, denied he had heard her, that they had made up, and wanted to drop the charges. Authorities refused to drop the charges. Then last week, authorities stated they had lost a key piece of evidence in the case. Funny how these things happen. The third impeachment was filed by 3 unnamed petitioners, as has already been mentioned, to remove Kentucky Attorney General Dan Cameron from office. The 3 were on the grand jury related to Breonna Taylor's death, and they believe that AG Cameron did not provide the jurors with all the information in the case. I have not reviewed the latter 2 impeachment filings, but hope to in the next 2 or 3 meetings, 2 or 3 of our Monday night live sessions. The ability of someone to file an impeachment is mentioned in the Kentucky Constitution, but does not spell out exactly how the process works. Legislators created law to set forth procedures. The law is spelled out in KRS Chapter 63. The Beshear impeachment petition makes several claims revolving around Beshear limiting personal freedoms related to COVID-19 and executive actions implemented during the pandemic without the approval of the legislature, essentially for performing duties expected of the chief executive officer of the Commonwealth. The law requires a committee to be formed, and Republican Representative Jason Nemeth was selected as chair along with 3 other Democrat or 3 other Republican and 3 Democrat legislators. The committee had its first meeting on January 13th. I understand the committee chair did not provide much notice about the meeting and closed a portion of the meeting. There was concern expressed about potential violations of the Kentucky Open Meetings Act. I tried to obtain a copy of the meeting minutes, which should be posted on the LRC website. An email to Chairman Nemeth and my legislators went unanswered. Interestingly, on Nemeth's Facebook page, one of his friends said that he had heard Nemeth would chair the committee. Nemeth replied that no, he was not. The next day, he was appointed to chair the committee. The committee was formed because it is legally required to be formed. No one should get excited nor upset that the committee has been formed. We're going to follow not just the rules, not just the due process, but there will be no unfairness here, is what Nemeth is quoted as saying. The committee reached out to Governor Beshear and asked him to respond in writing by January 22nd, or noted that he could appear before the committee. The committee also reached out to petitioners and asked them to respond by January 26th. Governor Beshear's 241-page response was delivered to the committee and the public on January 22nd. The impeachment committee will meet on January 27th at 3 p.m. in room 125 of the Capitol Annex. I expect this meeting will be televised by KET, and one would expect a ruling quickly after reviewing all the replies. If the committee approves the impeachment, then the House votes to either go forward or not. If the matter goes forward, then the Senate will hold a trial. In my opinion, this impeachment petition will not be voted out of the committee and will end there. In essence, everything alleged in the petition has already been litigated in the courts. I expect this petition to be denied. I plan to review the other petitions and update the current one in the coming weeks. I also want to mention that we have a couple of petitions that we've got out there. We have one that is titled "End Beshear's Sham Impeachment Effort." That should be up on the screen here in a little bit. And then we also have another petition. This one's titled "Mitch Minion Dan Cameron Can't Be Allowed to Lie About Grand Jury Proceedings. Listen to Breonna Taylor's Jurors." So I'll turn it back to you, Aaron.
Go ahead.
Make your money and go
All right. So a landmark episode, because I think that might be the last time that we see the following Mitch's Money graphics and theme song. So Doug, I did just want to say thank you so much for all the work that you've done, all the research you have done, and the facts and news that you have shared with our loyal viewers out there in the interwebs. So thanks for that work, Doug. And then, as Doug mentioned, we have launched not one, but 2 petitions just today. So if you want to make sure that the legislature hears from you, do a couple things. So if you agree that the impeachment of Andy Beshear is garbage and bogus, please sign that petition, share that petition. And then if you agree with me that the Breonna Taylor jurors are, should be listened to, and that Dan Cameron should be fully investigated for his, misleading and lying statements that he has made about that process. Sign that one. And you should, if you agree with us on both of those, sign them both. And then share them as well. Maybe share the one that you're most fired up about. I don't know. But the only way we really can hold these guys accountable and make sure that our voices are heard is to put the pressure on them. And this could be, a great way of just really expanding the universe of people who are engaged with, these decisions that are going to be made in Frankfurt by our state legislatures, which, as you know, because I mention it all the time, they are predominantly Republicans. They have this, super extreme majorities in both houses. So we have got to get our voices heard and be super loud about it, because, left to their own devices, they're just going to follow the Republican kind of line of reasoning, which is very little reasoning and a lot about power. So that's the action to do today, tonight. Take action, and I think we're going to throw it over to Kimberly to close us out this evening.
Aaron, I just wanted to make note of something that I just saw, that the impeachment trial will begin in the Senate on February the 8th. Isn't that wonderful? Yes. Starting on February the 8th, the Trump impeachment trial in the Senate.
So many impeachments. We got impeachments everywhere you look. There's an impeachment. Got a DC impeachment, got a few Frankfurt impeachments. Man, it is impeachment season, apparently.
Yes. As long as we don't get impeached, we're just fine. So
I hope that petition doesn't get started online. Impeach Progress Kentucky. No.
No, it's too many of us to fight that down. Let me say this. If you are not receiving our newsletter, I say the same thing every week. I know I sound like a broken record, but this broken record wants you to be informed and to have facts and truth. So if you're not getting it, if your mom and them, papa and them, or your friends, everybody that you know is not getting the newsletter, please send us a DM in Facebook or Twitter, and we'll get that right out to you. We've got a lot of news that you can use in that newsletter. So, each week, one of the best that I know of, Mr. Ken of Couchfire Media. And let me tell you a little bit about Couchfire Media. Couchfire Media ignites multi-camera, live stream, fiction narrative, non-fictional education. Couchfire Media is informative, it's animation and commercial video production content. So set your content on fire with Couchfire Media. You can go to them at couchfiremedia.com. And as usual, every week I have to give a shout out to Nate. Thank you so much for that song that we hear each week. You can find more music from Nate at natosongs.com. So I know that all of you all know that several of us do other shows outside of this one being our favorite, of course. But make sure that you're looking out for Miss Denise Gray, called Denise Gray's Kentucky Conversations. Her next show is on February the 14th. Snuggle up with your boo and see what Miss Gray is going to be talking about. Okay, and then please tune in and get involved there. It's very important. Also, you can watch the replay on the Bluegrass Activist Alliance Facebook page or on Denise Gray's public figure page. Now, this is one that I do, okay? I love this one too. The Jones Report. You can watch us every week on Sundays at 1 o'clock. You know that the playoffs are just about over. It will be the Super Bowl, and then you know that you'll be looking at the Jones Report every Sunday at 1 o'clock. Okay, and we've got on there Mike Breuer, you know him, a hometown hero of Kentucky, Chicken Bristle, and Miss Betsy Foster, working tirelessly in the Democratic Party. And yes, yours truly, myself, and Ken is the producer there. So, you know, how can we lose on that? Also, you guys know, in case you didn't, we're changing the name of the show. It's come to that point where the rubber meets. Doug, can you help me out with that? What is that one? You got to take it off mute, though. You got to take it off mute, though.
Rubber meets the road.
That's exactly where the rubber meets the road, okay? It's decision day, okay? And we're going to be changing over. We've got Progress Kentucky, so we can progress this state, right? We don't want Georgia to show us up. In Kentucky, we do things here too. We make moves here too. So the time is coming for that. We've got to change the name. We've kind of outgrown Mitch McConnell Retirement Committee. And all of us together, and you, all of us together as a team, we did demote Mitch. So it's time for us to have another name. Now, there's been some speculation about Kernels of Truth. What do you think about it? Send us a message. Comment in the comments. Let us know. What do you think about that name, Kernels of Truth? I like it. I love it, actually. So, you know, get involved. Engage with us, okay? Because we really want to know what you're thinking. We want to know how you're feeling. And then after that, I guess you have to join us next week to find out what else we've got up our sleeves. So until then, thank you, Ken. Thank you, Doug. I love that report, Doug. Thank you, Aaron, for just even allowing me to be a part of your great show here. And we'll be back next week. See you then.